is Benjamin. I'm gonna be we were gonna be going against a dog right now. Sorry about that. Sorry about last time. Someone did end up coming in, and I started playing. So let's go ahead and get this going. This is against Benji. I guess he gets better with each game, so let's make him better. Let's see here. Time control, 15 minutes, so I can explain a little better. Have more time to explain stuff, which will always be helpful. So, all right. All right, let's get started. Sorry about that. I was All right. First and foremost, I like to have some control over the center. I always play e4. E4, d4, perfectly fine. That's funny. I choose up the dad's homework, a book. That's funny. I like to play King's Gambit, but for here I'm gonna play more solid opening, so I won't f3. This is a bad move, only because I get to get a nice pawn structure in the center. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to c3. He took it. I'm gonna now I can take with the knight or the queen. I am considering on the queen because it attacks this pawn here, but he can. I can't play game right now. I'm in the middle of doing a lesson. Now, if I take with the queen and the knight moves up, I'm not entirely sure if. I mean, he can go back. I'll take the. Okay, that actually might be good for me if he does this, because I can. But he also can move the queen over. I can unpin. He can castle. So he has moves he can do. So now I look at that and think about if that's good for me or not, if that's what I want to do. So if I move and he moves up, if I attack the knight, if he pins it, if I develop and he castles, and then I castle, he would be forced to move the knight after that. So I think that might be good for me. Yeah, that'd be good for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I like that position for myself. And those are where I believe are best moves for black. Okay, he didn't do it. Something else. So now that I can't attack this way or this pawn or do the scenario that I thought was the best moves, this right here weakens the king side. So what I want to do is, instead of just moving the piece and not explaining, I want to move a bishop here to attack these squares to help prevent him from castling. He can move the pawn up, but I can just take it with the bishop, and it'll be just fine. Now, if he moves this, that's different. I would have to go with the pawn first, and then the bishop. And this helps get me ready for castling. So I'm going to go ahead with that. Okay, so he moved his knight, and he can't castle, because if he castles, he'll be in check. I gotta think of a way to attack him. I stopped him from castling temporarily, but that's not gonna help me long term. Right now, he can move the pawn up, and if I take it, he can just take it with the knight, and that's not gonna be very good for me. Yeah, and if I take, he takes, I take, and everything's traded, and I lose my attack, so that's not very good. So I'm gonna have to think of a way to play a move that would be a bit aggressive. I'm thinking about just playing e5, because if he takes, I take back, and the knight will be pinned, and he still can't castle because of the bishop. And that's pretty much what I'm thinking about. He doesn't have to take the pawn though. He can just and if he moves up, I can just take on passant. So okay. Okay, he moves up one. I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. He still can't castle. If I move my knight here, I'll be threatening check, but he also can move the rook over. But then I can take this pawn over here if he does that. So that actually wouldn't be good for me. Yeah, because I can call it check, and also the rook move will give me a free pawn. So I think that works for me either way. Always think about your opponent's moves when you make moves, or what he might be able to do. Another thing he can do is, okay, that works for me. I'll call it check. Now, if I move the pawn up and he takes it, that would be checkmate. So I'm going to move the pawn up. I doubt he will take it. Yeah, because that would have been mate, so there's no reason for him to take it. But more importantly, I have a little bit more of an attack here. Then rook would just take it, though, if I do this now. Trying to think of a good aggressive move here. I can just take the pawn, but he'll take back. I can move the knight back, hitting the rook. I also can move the knight over here, which is a really weird square, hitting the rook. But if he takes, and I take the rook, and he takes, that would be mate. No, it would not be mate. He'll move back. It'd be almost mate. Take queen. He takes. Trying to think of a good scenario. That's a lot. Yeah, I think this is good. Okay, he took here. And I can take. That was a different capture that I was expecting. He just sacked his knight, his rook, I mean. Move out the way of the danger. This knight has to move. I'm still up in material a tiny bit. But this is protected by the knight, so it's fine. I have this check here, but he can just move the king over, so it's not going to do much. He's trying to sacrifice his pieces right now, and I'm gonna do that. Apparently doesn't want to because of development. He hasn't developed, but neither have I. So it's not really an advantage for me if I also didn't do it. If I take, he takes, I can castle, and then yeah, I think it's good. And then I can try to attack this weak pawn if I can with my rook and bring it over. So a nice idea. Okay, I'm gonna castle now. All right, attack the pawn. Knight. The bishop here is going to be attacking. All right. I guess I can develop my. I gotta think about where I want my knight. You know, like what square would be good for him. So right now, I would like my knight here to attack these two pawns. So if I go here, here, and here, that might be okay. But then he can attack my bishop that way. So wouldn't be a good idea. If I move back, attack this knight. No, I gotta attack the pawn chain. So if I move my knight this way, rook over, attack the pawn chain. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go for the pawn chain. I can go here and here as well. So I have two different ways I can do this to come here. This one looks more secure, and this one gives me more options because this will only give me this square. This one's not, it also gives me square two, which is attacking the bishop. So, yeah, this is fine. I also have the square two. Okay, he blocks that square off. I'm still gonna go with my plan and attack this pawn like I wanted. The pawns in the base are usually weak. Boss. Okay, he attacks. I can always just fall back, but I don't want to get trapped. So I don't want to fall back that way. It's actually paying pretty good. I move my pawn, but if he takes, I can't take back. So if I'm going to move my pawn up, I should move rook over and try to get something going. I'm going to go ahead with that. Get something rolling. I might have to move my knight over here at some point. Okay, he attacked first, which is perfectly fine. It's not that big of a deal. I feel like he's starting to trap my knight though, so I should probably move up. And if he comes out this way, I'll head my rook over. I'm not worried about a queen bishop combo for checkmate because there's no queen on the board, so I don't even have to consider that. And if he does come in, well, he can't come in all the way anyways because the knight would take it. I can attack the bishop. Now if I take here, he takes back. I don't have an exact follow-up. But I do want to attack here and here. Right now, my knight, I feel like my knight is vulnerable. Like, he doesn't really have any good squares. Now, if I take this and he takes back, I can defend my knight. Or, well, if I take this and he takes, yeah. I think about sacking the exchange. I really am considering second exchange. Because if I take and he takes back, I take, this is defended, so it's not going to work. But if I take, he takes back, I can take this pawn and defend mine. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I wasn't entirely sure what to do with my knight, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. And this knight can get in the game this way. This knight has this square, so I can stop him. Leave him on the side of the board and bring this knight up. I think it's a good idea. I also have this fork here in the future. Dark squares, not really super worried about. The light square bishop, this dark square is not going to be able to attack anything soon, so I'm not super worried about it. I can attack. Keep thinking of ways to be aggressive, I want to be aggressive as possible. I like playing aggressive chess. This will protect the knight. So if the bishop takes it, I can take it back. And there's little. There it goes. All right. Yeah, sorry about. I've dropped the pawn altogether, trying to defend my knight. All right, this isn't very good. Yeah, I don't have internet and stuff like that, so I'm at the library. So sorry about the background noise. I can move my knight here, but I don't see a way to really checkmate my opponent. And that's kind of why I wanted all my pieces here. I'm gonna attack the knight. He can take the pawn. He didn't. Defending this pawn. This right here would be attacking the rook and the pawn, and I should be able to win the other pawn. So I'm trying to win pawns as much as possible now, because he's a little bit up in material. So I kind of need to win some pawns. And see, I'm 1646, and the computer is 1222, and he's doing really well. I see a lot of people saying the bots are really bad. You can see the bots actually are not very bad. People, I think, they'll play like 100 games or 50 games against a bot that's higher rated, and then they'll win one, and then say the bot's not that great, which doesn't make much sense. Like, I beat Hikaru bot, but it took me like probably 100 tries, and I actually live streamed it. So it doesn't mean Hikaru bot is bad. It just means that he probably made a bad move at some point. You know, bots do that. He has that, but he didn't take it. I can attack this way. Trying to find a way to really attack him, and I don't see how I can do that. I feel like I should move a pawn up. I don't see a way to really attack him. I have a hard time against both his bishops. Like, they're controlling a lot of squares, and I don't see any ways really for my knights to take advantage. Like, if I move back, obviously he can just take it. I don't have good squares for my knights. And if I go over here, he can just fork my pieces. That's not good for me. And I can't call check to avoid it because the bishop. So his bishops are controlling a lot right now for me to be able to formulate some type of plan. I would like to go around an attack, but the bishop is defending this as well. So I'm pretty much, I'm not saying I lost the game, but I'm definitely saying I'm in a losing. I would definitely say I'm in a losing position because almost everything I think of is pretty much counterable pretty easily. You want my rook over maybe? No, because he would just take this here. I don't see a way to centralize my king either to come into attack. I might find a way to exchange the rooks maybe, and then try to win with my pawns and knights. That might be the best bet for me. For now, I'm just gonna move back and forth a little bit I don't see an actual way to take advantage of anything. So I don't want to make a mistake and make a move to be aggressive and lose. So I'm going to move back and forth and see what he's doing, and hopefully he makes a mistake. Because I literally showed him why I have really no moves to go forward in the position. All right, he's moving his pawns up, which is perfectly fine because I can take it. And this pawn moves, I have my rook here to take it. And if he moves, I can take it. So I'm pretty much covered. So I'm not worried about his advancing pawns. Now this right here will fork his pieces. So he made a mistake. So I just basically moved back and forth. He was in a winning position, so he wouldn't do a draw with me, of course. But now I can be winning because he made a mistake. And it's a little cheap trick. It doesn't only work against computers; it does work against humans as well. A lot of times when people are winning, they don't want to lose. So if you go back and forth, they don't want a threefold repetition. They're gonna make a mistake. You know, especially if they don't know how to continue. So that's a small trick for you guys to help, create blunders for someone else. It does work. Now I can start advancing and attacking a little bit. I don't want to go here though. Well, if he goes back to attack this pawn, my knight would be able to take it. So it's actually okay for me to advance a pawn. Okay, there it goes. When it freezes up like that, I don't know if the audio freezes as well. I just don't, like I said, I just don't have internet. So I can attack the pawn this way and attack the bishop and the pawn at the same time. Now, if I go over here to attack the bishop and the pawn at the same time, he can move his bishop here to attack my knight, which isn't good for me. I'm going to move my rook over and his pawn up and try to possibly exchange it. Not immediately, but if I could move my... Ooh, I made a mistake. He could have called check and took my rook. But if I can my knight down, pawn up, that should be helpful. And I'm not worried about these pawns, like I said, because I have a rook. My rook can easily... And he decided to go over again to create the same threat as earlier. So now if I move up and he takes, if I take, he can call check and take my rook. So I seen it a little late last time. He didn't do it, but I definitely seen it this time. Now let's go through it. Yeah, I'm not getting any compensation for that. So I'm going to move my king out the way first. And if he calls check, I can... All right. Attack the bishop. And now I can do this because he can't call check this way because my king's close enough. So I able to position myself to do the move that I couldn't do earlier. This is a double check. So in double check, you don't have to look at captures against you because your the king has to move. So a double check, and the king will most likely take this piece here. I don't have to worry about my rook. Okay. Now, if my move work out the way, I have to keep in mind that he has a pin. I'm going to go over here. I want to make sure my rook is able to defend here. He can take this pawn, though. I couldn't defend them both. Now I can defend this pawn. So he's playing pretty well. He's actually defending super well. I just was very fortunate to win the piece when I did. Only defense. Yep. It's the only defense he had. Now I can pin his bishop. If I'm my knight over here, I can take this pawn. So I'm going to start the attack. He can pin here if he wanted. Okay. And now I can win the pawn. So it's a lot of work for pawns in the endgame. Definitely a lot of work. Totally worth it, though. I can take this pawn. I can actually... Yeah, I should have pinned it last round, but I didn't. I did have a free bishop. Okay. He gave it back to me. Okay. So now that the bishop's on the black, I can keep my pieces on white squares, and I really don't have to worry about the bishop attacking me because of it. It's going to move up. I don't see my chat for some reason. I don't think I disabled it, did I? I don't even see the option for my chat anywhere, which is really weird. Yeah, I'll fix it later. I can't. No point now. I'll finish the video. I can call it check. If I call it check, he has two squares. If I call it check this way, and he moves down, I can call it check and take the bishop. If I call it check this way, he moves up, I can call it check and take the bishop. So I'm trying to think of which one would be better for him. And I'm thinking he will want to stay towards the pawn. So this check right here, if he stays towards the pawn, I can take the bishop. If he goes away from the pawn, exactly. If he went away from the pawn, then I would be able to go for the pawn instead. So obviously, if I take the bishop now, he'll take the rook, and then I can make a queen. So I'm making a queen. I know a lot of people don't think about sacrificing their pieces like that. It's more of a, to me, it's basically a positional sacrifice. This puts me in a position to make a queen very easily. And there's no point in messing around trying to, keep my material and play a whole lot just to win if I can just make that exchange and make a queen. And if he ever attacks my knight, I just move away and I can go back and forth. So, let's check. Check. Now my job now is to make sure the king has least squares possible so I can checkmate him faster. And This is a check. This is kind of pushing him back. And you always make sure that if you're not checkmating your opponent, that he at least has one square to go to. Like if I go here, he has a square, so it's fine. You know, and he has one more. He has another square too. He has two squares, which is fine. This is check. Now he only has these three. If I call check, you only have one square. So if I use this instead, he has one move. He didn't do it. Now he will, and then it'll be mate. He's gonna kind of close him off. So, all right. Hopefully that helps a little bit with like why I decided certain moves and ideas. Basically, all the ideas they work in different positions if it's like the similar idea, you know. So it's kind of like pretty much how that works. So, all right. I'm good for today. Thanks for watching, and yeah, like, subscribe, and share. Yeah, I apologize for the audio. I'm at the library. Like I said, we don't have Wi-Fi right now, so because I just moved. But all right, thank you. Thank you.